The April 25th, 2026 sighting is currently listed as the latest official report. It was made by visitors who said they saw something from a cruise boat and took a photo. Just 2 days earlier, on April 23rd, 2026, two visitors from Ontario, Canada reported seeing a large shape crest the water while they were traveling along the loch. They described it as something like a whale, with a large S-shaped wake trailing behind it. That detail is one of the classic elements in Loch Ness sightings. It is not always the creature itself that people describe. Sometimes it is the wake, the motion, the disturbance, the sense that something large moved beneath the surface and briefly revealed itself. On April 21st, 2026, another visitor, this time from the United States, reported seeing something that looked like a whitish-gray shark fin moving through the water. She was traveling by bus when she saw it, so the glimpse was brief. But she described it as being in the middle of the loch, away from the shoreline. And on March 1st, 2026, an American tourist reported seeing a dark greenish-gray body emerge near the opening of the Caledonian Canal. He said it appeared about 15 feet from the boat he was on, rose out of the water for only a few seconds, then dipped back beneath the surface. That report came with a sketch of what he believed he saw. So in 2026 alone, the official register has listed 4 reports. One included a photo. One included a sketch. Others were eyewitness accounts. And the question becomes, are these new Loch Ness Monster sightings caught on camera evidence of something unknown? Or are they another chapter in a mystery that has always lived right on the edge between reality and imagination? To understand why people still care, we have to go back. Long before the modern name Loch Ness Monster existed, there were stories of something strange in the waters of the Scottish Highlands. The earliest famous account is usually traced back to the year 565 AD, with the story of Saint Columba. According to legend, Columba encountered a dangerous beast near the River Ness after it had attacked a man. When the creature tried to attack another person, Columba commanded it to stop, and the beast retreated. Whether that story was meant as literal history, religious symbolism, folklore, or a tale shaped over centuries is still debated, but it gave Loch Ness something powerful. An origin story, a monster in the water, a holy man. A terrifying creature forced back into the depths. After that, the legend did not explode immediately into worldwide fame. For centuries, stories came and went. Scotland has a long tradition of water creatures, including kelpies, water horses, and mysterious beings said to live in lochs, rivers, and wild places. In that older folklore, the strange creature of Loch Ness was not necessarily treated like a dinosaur hiding in a lake. It belonged to a much older world of spirits, warnings, and dangerous waters. Then came the 20th century, and everything changed. In 1933, a woman named Aldi Mackay reported seeing something unusual in Loch Ness. She described it as a strange water beast or whale-like creature. Her report reached the press, and suddenly the local legend became a global mystery. This was the moment Nessie entered the modern world. The newspapers picked up the story. The public became fascinated. Reporters began using the term Loch Ness Monster. Tourists came looking. Photographers watched the water. Witnesses stepped forward with their own stories. What had once been regional folklore became one of the most famous monster legends on Earth. And then the photographs began. In November 1933, Hugh Gray took one of the earliest famous photographs connected to Nessie. The image was blurry, dramatic, and open to interpretation, which is exactly the kind of evidence that often fuels a mystery rather than ending it. Some people believed it showed something alive in the water. Others argued it could be a dog, a wave, a log, or simply a confusing image. But by then, the idea had taken hold. Something might be in Loch Ness. Then, in 1934, came the most famous Loch Ness image of all, the so-called surgeon's photo. It seemed to show a long neck rising from the water, like a prehistoric creature surfacing from the deep. For decades, this image shaped how the world imagined Nessie. Even people who knew almost nothing about the legend recognized the silhouette. A small head, long neck, dark water, and the suggestion of an ancient creature hiding just beneath the surface. But the surgeon's photo was later widely regarded as a hoax, and that should have destroyed the legend, but it did not. In some ways, it made the mystery more complicated. Because even after the most iconic image was called into question, people continued to report sightings. Not just tourists chasing a fantasy, but locals, boat workers, researchers, and visitors who claimed they saw something they could not explain. The story survived the hoax because it was never built on only one photograph. By the 1960s, the search for Nessie became more organized. The Loch Ness Investigation Bureau was formed and used cameras, observation posts, mobile teams, and later sonar to search the loch. Investigators watched the water for hours. They photographed disturbances. They followed reports. They tried to move the mystery from folklore into evidence. In 1962, and again in 1968, sonar contacts were reported that seemed to show large, unexplained objects beneath the surface. These did not prove the existence of a monster, but they kept the debate alive. That is the strange power of Loch Ness. The best evidence is rarely definitive. The weakest evidence is easy to dismiss. But in between, there is a gray area, a shape, a wake, a sonar contact, a photograph that is not clear enough, a witness who seems sincere, a story that does not feel completely impossible, and Loch Ness itself helps the mystery survive. The loch is long, deep, dark, and atmospheric. Its water is stained by peat, making visibility difficult. The surface can change quickly with wind and weather. Waves can behave strangely. Boats can create wakes that travel and distort. Animals can break the surface. Floating debris can look alive from the right angle. Shadows can become shapes. In other words, Loch Ness is almost perfectly designed to create mysteries. In 2018, researchers used environmental DNA, often called eDNA, to study the life in the loch. The study did not support the idea of a surviving prehistoric reptile. One possible explanation discussed after the study was that some sightings could be large eels. That idea does not explain every report, but it offered a natural possibility that fit at least some descriptions: long, serpentine shapes moving through the water. Still, for many people, large eel does not quite satisfy the imagination. That is why the newest reports matter. not because one photograph suddenly proves the monster exists, but because they show that the legend is still alive. People are still seeing things. People are still watching the water. People are still taking pictures, making sketches, and reporting what they cannot explain. The latest 2026 sighting is part of that long chain. From St. Columba's ancient beast, to Aldi Mackay's 1933 report, to the Hugh Gray photo, to the infamous surgeon's photo, to sonar contacts, scientific studies, webcam sightings, and modern cruise boat reports, the Loch Ness Monster has never fully disappeared. The mystery is never solved. It is only updated. A new sighting, a new photo, a new ripple across the dark water. And once again, the world asks the same question. Is Nessie back? Thanks for joining us here at Unexplained Places on Earth. Our lead producer, Marcia Chase, has finished her first novel, and it is now in its final edits. It's a supernatural thriller filled with ancient mysteries, portals, hidden agendas, and a battle over the human soul. We're currently looking for ARC readers who would like to receive an early copy before publication. If you'd like to be part of that, you can sign up at marciachaseauthor.com. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment with the next mystery you'd like us to explore.